Hello, good afternoon. Today we're going to study a poem that is very interesting in the class 10th curriculum, and it is A Tiger in the Zoo. It is written by Leslie Norris, who happens to be a Welsh poet and a short story writer. In my opinion, children, it is a far out cry. Why? Let's understand that. Now, I want you to quickly grab your textbooks and your pencils so that we can make notes as we speak. Okay, so, I want you to quickly go back to your childhood and try and remember those times when perhaps you went to a zoo with your parents. Right. So, when you went to the zoo, obviously, like if I am to remember my childhood, I was very excited. I was very excited to see the striped zebra, I was excited to see the lion, the elephant, the giraffe, and loads of animals like that. And I particularly looked forward to the days when my dad took me to the zoo. But now that I'm all grown up, and if I go back to those golden times and if I think about it, I really think, were those animals really happy to see me? Did they look as excited to see me as I was to see them? I don't think so. So this poem exactly does that to us. It draws a contrast. It tells us how we have caged animals nowadays. They are restricted into the concrete cells of a zoo and they're not happy about it. Imagine yourself to be in such position. How would you feel? Would you be elated? Would you be excited to see the people who visit you? I don't think so. And so would you by the end of this session. So let's just quickly read this exciting poem and then let's decide whether we should cage the animals, whether we should put them in the zoos, or they are well off in their natural habitat, which is a forest. So as I read, I will also help you through the poetic devices. I would also guide you about the literary devices, and then we will do the question answers thereafter. So I'm going to start reading, and as I read, I want you to grab your textbooks and read along with me. Leslie says, he stalks in his vivid stripes, the few steps of his cage, on pads of velvet quiet in his quiet rage. Now, few words that I want you to look into here are vivid. The next word here is pads of velvet quiet. And then quiet rage. So, what is the tiger doing? First, the poet Leslie Norris has personified the tiger. How? By not calling the tiger it, but calling him he. So, there is definitely a hint of personification here. Right. Moving on, the poet says the stripes. Have you ever seen a tiger? Those bright colors, the bright yellow, the bright orange color that it has. So that's what here the poet is talking about. And then few steps of his cage. So what is happening? If you imagine the situation, he is probably caged, and that concrete cell does not give him enough room, enough space to walk around, and he's obviously not happy about it. And there is an oxymoron in the word quiet rage. See, you feel the pain of the tiger there. He is filled with rage. Rage means anger. But it is quiet because obviously he cannot show it out to somebody. And even if he does that, would it bear any fruit? Would it be helpful? Will he be set free? So just because a tiger is angry and he's growling and he's howling in his cage, will the owners of the zoo set him free just because he's unhappy? Obviously not. So he is filled with quiet rage here. And then pads of velvet quiet. Definitely a metaphor here. What is he doing? He's comparing, the soft velvet material that we have. So he's compared the pads, the paws of the tiger to velvet. They're as soft as well with indirect comparison and definitely a metaphor there. So what is he trying to tell us in the first paragraph? He's going to tell us that the tiger is filled with rage, he's unhappy, and he's walking around in a concrete cell in a zoo perhaps. Looking at the second stanza, he should be lurking in shadow, sliding through long grass, near the water hole where plump deer pass. So now he completely takes us to a different zone, he takes us to a different environment, he takes us to the natural habitat of the tiger, and he tells us that where he is right now, that is the concrete cell, he should not be there at all. Instead, where should he be? He should be lurking in shadow. Now the word lurking here means he should be hiding. Okay, so early morning times when you're aware that the animals of the jungle come to a water body to drink water, that is the best time that a tiger hunts for its prey, right? So the tiger at this point in time should be somewhere near a water body, and he should be hiding, waiting for its prey. And deer, antelope seems to be the best prey for a tiger at this point in time, and he should be waiting there, he should be waiting to hunt. And what does happen in a zoo? He's just being given his meals just like that. Maybe he's famished, maybe he doesn't eat, but who cares, right? Then again, he should be snarling around houses at the jungle's edge, baring his white fangs, his claws, terrorizing the village. So in the third stanza also, he tries to tell us that what the tiger should be doing instead of being filled with this quiet rage, and instead of being in this concrete cell. He should be snarling around houses, he should be growling, he should be scaring people. So perhaps if there's a village at the edge of the forest, at the end of the forest, he should be terrorizing those people in the village rather than being here. He's helpless right now. He is a tiger. It should be terrorizing people, it should be scaring people. People should be scared of a tiger, not just go to a zoo, look at it and then probably clap and be happy about it, right? So that's what his white fangs are, the teeth that he should be showing. He should be ferocious, he should be terrorizing people, but it does not happen. And then he brings us back to the reality gently. In stanza 4, Leslie tells us, but he is locked in a concrete cell, a cell which is made of bricks and sand and water, and he does not belong here, he should not be here. His strength behind bars. So you've caged a ferocious animal. He's a wild, tawny beast of the forest. You've brought him here, you've caged him, and it's not doing any good to the poor tiger. You're actually torturing him, stalking the length of his cage. He is probably, like you are walking, and you have nothing better to do. So he is just walking around the cage doing nothing and ignoring the visitors. Why is he ignoring the visitors? Because obviously he is not happy with the visitors. So if somebody comes at your home, you're delighted, you welcome them, you wish them nicely, you feed them. But here the tiger is unhappy. He does not want to be here. He does not belong to this particular cage. So what happens? He is ignoring visitors. People who are coming to the zoo to watch a tiger, he's not bothered. He's not interested in them at all. He hears the last voice at night. So when it's closing time and probably the last person has also walked off, he hears the patrolling cars, the police patrolling cars which are probably doing the roundabouts of the zoo. He hears that and stares with his brilliant eyes at the brilliant stars. So again, the last two lines, let's read them again. And stares with his brilliant eyes at the brilliant stars. So his eyes are shining, the stars are shining, there's a repetition here. But again, he's helpless. So probably he tries to remember those times. In this line, his helplessness is so obvious. He's trying to show, he's trying to probably memorize those times when perhaps once upon a time he was in the forest, he was was free, he was hunting, he was with his family, whatsoever, we don't know. But he is just looking helplessly at the stars. Perhaps it's a little cry out, it's a little prayer to God that please God, I want to be out of here and help me sometime. Right. So again, the poem has got 5 stanzas and we've gone through them line by line, and there are some important words also that I have put on the board. So the crux of the matter, the entire endeavor of writing this poem, what did the poet think? What was he thinking? I truly believe that Leslie again, wanted us to show a little bit of empathy towards the animals, which we are lacking at times, right? We do not empathize with them. Even if it's a festival, probably you will see a dog which is on the roadside and it's all covered in mud or covered in color. It could be harmful to its skin, but we don't empathize, right? We don't do that. Even, you at times are ogling at the monkeys which are there in the cage at a zoo. You are making faces towards them. Is it nice? You're growling towards a tiger who's already tortured. So that's not empathy. So Leslie, I think in a way wanted us to sympathize, empathize with the animals. And then again, a very important question which is posed by the poem here is that do we actually require zoos? Should we cage the animals in zoos? Is it all right to cage and probably bar somebody's independence like that? I don't think so, because you are in a way torturing the animal. You would not be happy if you are put inside a zoo. You would not be happy at all. You would not be happy about your existence at all. You would be separated from your family. You would be isolated from your dear ones. You would not like it. Similarly, animals also don't like to be caged. So why not, we could have, instead of zoos, natural reservoirs for animals, sanctuaries are a better option for animals. And I definitely feel that rather than putting those animals behind close encounters, concrete cells in a zoo, why don't we put them into their natural habitat and they will enjoy, and we can watch them in their natural surroundings, and we will see happy animals rather than animals who are filled with quite rage, right? Now we will quickly look at some of the things here, like for example, we will look at the poetic devices, which are definitely a plus point in this poem. I have already told you some, so I will leave this on the board, that Leslie has time and again used a pronoun he for the tiger, which again gives us the idea that he has personified the tiger. And then, like I said, there is oxymoron, so 2 adjectives used which are completely opposite to each other. He's used quite rage. So one more time, it's up there on the board, it's quite rage, and that's an oxymoron, right? Okay, the velvet pad there is a metaphor. His paws being compared to velvet, that's a metaphor there. And if we look at the rhyme scheme of the poem, we will quickly put the last 4 endings, rhyme endings. So in stanza 1, I have stripes, then I have cage, quiet, and rage, right? So when you look at them, the rhyme ending tells me that we have A, B, then C, and then A. So that's the rhyme pattern that we have for the poem in stanza 1. So we have, again I would quickly do a recap, we have personification, we have oxymoron, we have metaphor, and then we have the literary device. Now some other things that are of great value in this poem are a question. Okay, so lot of questions that will keep coming up. Reference to context can be taken up from this poem, and I hope you have understood all the 4 stanzas. I would also quickly want you to look at one particular question that is of significance here, which is love for freedom is natural instinct of everybody, right? So I will repeat that. I said love for freedom is a natural instinct for everybody. comment. So if that kind of questions comes to us and that is for 8 marks, I hope with reference to this particular poem and with reference to this video, you will be able to answer that. Alright, so have a good time and thank you so much for being there.